So bear with me today a little bit. I got this cold that I'm kind of battling up here as well as the cold weather. All right, it is 2 o'clock. Uh, we need to establish a quorum. Mitch Latva.
John Craig.
John Walsh.
Ron Colton.
All right, all members are present. We have established a quorum. Michael, can you provide proof of notice?
I can. I provided notice, mailed out the agenda. It needed a 2-week notice on this particular meeting, but that was done.
All right, I officially call a December Bayfront Board of Directors meeting to order. Let's start off with a brief president's report. Fairly short agenda meeting this month, so it should go hopefully quickly and easily. Just a brief financial overview. As you board members can see, if you log on, a current Raymond James balance is $5,332,438. That's for reserve funds, and our current operating account is $630,914. Total fire. Have they completed their inspections this week, Michael?
It will be complete on Friday.
Okay, that'll be complete on Friday. And one of the things that we had an alarm, false alarm the other day, but with all the work that they've done since we hired them, the fire, at least the alarms are just occasionally popping up. And but they're only a fraction of where they were when they first came on. I think they're doing a good job. And one of the things that they're doing is they're barcoding every piece of hardware in the facility, and they can keep track of what's been repaired, what doesn't need to be repaired, instead of just keep throwing parts at particular items like the last people did. So I thought that was a really good step on their part, because we got a lot of old 25-year-old components, so that should really help them keep track and stay on top of things. And one of the other things that they're doing, and John Walsh, you and I, we walked around with them that day. There's all kinds of red tags on pipes and different components around the facility that were never filled out properly. They were filled out as areas that needed attention, but once the repair has been made or a replacement done, they just left the tags on there. And so what they're doing is they're removing all of the old red tags. And I'm surprised that the fire department didn't catch us on that, to be honest with you. And they're replacing them with their own tags if something needs to be done, and they will be filling them out properly. I'm really glad we got rid of Cintas, because every time I turn around, it seems there's something else that they didn't do right. One of the things that I had, Michael had received a recommendation for a certain painter that can do the railings. And so what I had done was the section I had stripped up to walking up to the pool, just a little section, and I had them completely redo that section. And I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard reports, and Ron, I believe you're one that commented that it looks really great. So that's one last thing that we can do without Stoneburner's need to get his permission to do. So, excuse me. So we have that individual is going to provide us with an estimate to do all the railings on top of the garage, on the east garage. And we already have some quotes for that, so we can compare. But the the workmanship sounds like it's outstanding. So that's really good news. The current condominium sales, we have 14 on the market, couple within the past couple of weeks. So we're starting to get into the busy season, but we've got 14 with one sale pending. And that one that is pending, that'll be unit number 4 for this particular individual owner. So she must really like it here. The sports courts, you can see those things aren't finished yet. And John Walsh, you've been involved, with that some, been to meetings, and you've seen a lot of the email traffic and phone calls I've been dealing with. This has been a real pain. I've personally been playing referee between the engineering company and the company doing the finished surface. And playing referee is a kind word here. They've been disagreeing on exact procedures, and the engineering company wanted it done that way, and the people doing the work is like, I don't think that'll work. And they get to the point they weren't even talking to each other. 2 months go by, but I think I finally got that issue put to bed in yesterday's phone call at 11 a.m. I think we're all on the same page. We can move forward. Of course, this disagreement between on how this was going to be done put back our application to the city by 2 months. So we have submitted that, and Michael is following up on that. We still have them doing some basic caulking work, but no work to any concrete repair, which requires the permit. So that's where we're at on that. It's been really sickening having to deal with these 2 entities that refuse to even talk to one another. And finally, last week, we received a 2024 audit. That would seem like it was a long time coming. So that'll be the 3rd audit that we got done this last year, because, as everybody knows, the last board skipped 2 years of audits. So at least we've got the audits all caught up. There's one thing that I want to bring up with this board. We had a bit of a unique process of pulling this current board together in the past couple of years. Tom was on the board about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and a board of 3, and 2 members resigned, and so he was the only one left. And so Tom had appointed John Kreese, Ron Colgan, and me. And so we had a board of 4. And then the next spring, John Walsh ran unopposed for the open seat, so he got on the board. But what we've got in our governing documents is it states that board members need to have staggered years, with 3 being 1 year and 2 being the next. And so I had asked Jason, what should we do here? We've got this this little issue, and Jason suggested that perhaps maybe the most democratic way of doing this would be for this year, with the exception of John Walsh, because he got on earlier this year, but the rest of us, that we all run, and we'll let the membership vote, and the two highest people that get the votes get a 2-year term, and the 2 lower people get a 1-year term. That's one of the suggestions that he made, and we can put this on January's agenda for the board to vote on, I guess, but that's just something we need to think about. That is about all I have for the president's report. I think I just got back to my desk. We had a company Christmas party. We had it catered for 65 people, so that was a lot of fun today. That's it for president's report. If there's any questions or comments on that.
Mitch, I've got questions on the order, but I'll leave that for other business.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Approve the Board of Directors meeting minutes from 11/9/2025, which have been distributed. I guess there weren't any changes on that. So we'll just need a motion and a second and a vote.
I will make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to approve November's minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. We got a couple of items here. To approve the amendment to the documents for electronic voting. I'm not going to read that 4-page document. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Jason provide us, because Jason wrote this document for us. I'm going to let Jason just provide us a summary of what this is and how it works and why we should probably be doing it.
Certainly. So the Florida Condominium Act is finally moving into the 21st century. And rather than presuming that mail-in ballots and voting are the defaults, they want to make sort of electronic ballots and online voting the default. And so your choice is either to adopt an online voting system, as we've outlined in the rules there. And what you will do is find a third-party vendor who can set this up for you. And again, you'll email out for ballots and voting measures, and homeowners will be able to vote online rather than submit paper ballots. Or if you don't set this up, then you still have to set up an email account specifically for electronic voting that homeowners are entitled to send their votes to. So it almost seems like, why would you not adopt online voting as a board if you have to sort of establish it in a special email address for it? So you're voting on this resolution to create online voting at Bayfront. But if there's anybody who still feels the need or desire to vote with a paper ballot or proxy, that they may still opt out of online voting and do that. But this proposed resolution will allow you to hire this third-party vendor or company, and they will assist you with online internet voting moving forward for elections and other ballot measures you may have for the membership. So
Jason, would that just be an IT company that creates the format?
what's that?
Would that just be an IT company that would create the
Yes, and
format?
there's so many different sort of vendors out there that do this sort of thing, and I can refer you to 3, 5, 10. There's plenty that you can choose from. So yeah, but they run it for you, and there are certain requirements that they abide by that ensures that the process is both transparent and unable to be unfairly manipulated. So
Thank you.
In theory.
and fair, yes.
Yeah. Is any more and let's I'm going to make a motion to accept moving to electronic voting, or adding that to our documents.
I will second that.
Okay, it's open for discussion by board members. Well, if there's no board member discussion involved with that, I open the floor to unit owners.
Mitch, we just had a motion and a second.
I think John seconded.
I did.
So we're,
Need all in favor, say aye.
Yeah,
We
all
need,
right.
we need an. Mitch.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. It is unanimous. And the next item is approve an amendment to documents with for open carry. And again, Jason, thank you for drafting that document for us. I'll make we'll need a motion to approve.
John, you had some comments on this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I read through this and I, as I think you're all aware, I suggested we incorporate, we make a little bit of a change as the laws changed recently, a couple of years ago. But also, I've got a couple of things I think the board maybe might want to discuss. One is complete prohibition of weapons in high amenity areas. My understanding is that various associations are banning firearms, both open carry and concealed carry, inside places like clubhouses, on terraces, pools, pool decks, pickleball courts, etc. So it's not really my recommendation. It's a suggestion that we may want to consider, and also we might want to put some enforcement protocol in there to give management of residents clear guidance. And I put some language in there which Michael kindly distributed.
Yeah, and I was able to review it. I have no objections. You're a private property owner. You have the right to regulate concealed carry, open carry on your own property. And so, yeah, you could completely ban any sort of weapons in high amenity areas. In other areas, you could still require that, you know, you can, if you're going to carry, you conceal carry, but, you know, do it in accordance with old laws. Or, you know, I think the idea is you don't want people walking around waving handguns around and you don't know, you know, who they are, what their intentions are, and the like. So I don't want to get into the politics of it. I think it's simply a, you know, health, safety, and welfare issue, and you are free to adopt whatever regulations you want for bayfront condo, which is again private property.
I think it's a favorable recommendation. I just am curious about enforcement. I mean, case in point, you're sitting up here and you see a guy walk by in a swimming suit with a handgun strapped to him.
Well, that's we're trying to ban. We're trying to ban open carry. Period.
Yeah. Okay.
So and I have to say that I think it was what, July 1st, 23, Florida changed the open carry rules. Oh no, it was last year. I've never seen anybody in the Naples area aside from the police open carry. I've never seen a gun. But we'll have the same issue.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't.
And
I'm
I
just
don't.
curious about enforcement.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you're adopting a rule also to discourage something as well. Like, of course, if somebody's got a handgun tucked into their bathing suit, I wouldn't expect you to go high noon, you know, hey. You know, you might, you know, not even confront them there, but send a letter afterward. Hey, we noticed you had a handgun at the pool the other day, as you know, this is against the rules. So, you know, there's also other reasons why you might adopt a rule. It's not right then and there, but you're trying to discourage people from bringing weapons to John said, high amenity areas like the clubhouse, the swimming pool, tennis courts.
One question for you, because we are a multi-use community and you have the bar up front, you have restaurants, so they won't be affected by this, right?
Correct. You only have rulemaking authority for the condominium property itself, which is, you know, well, it's the second floor and above, right? So nothing on the first floor.
So that would be something individual that the owners of the ground floor would have to develop something.
That's sort of their issue. That's right. Yeah.
So, Jason, help me out here. I think the cart got before the horse here. What I'm hearing is John Kreese wants to make an amendment to what you drafted, right?
I'm making a suggestion that we might want to consider this.
So, well,
Okay.
maybe discussion. So this might be the part where, you know, somebody's moving to amend the proposed rule and you have a discussion about that. So what John is suggesting is, hey, might we consider sort of an addition or revision to this that would completely prohibit the carrying of firearms, open, concealed, or otherwise in your high use areas such as the clubhouse, swimming pool, racket courts, and the like.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So I guess this will need to be rewritten then. And Jason, I'd like you to, write a legal document like this, not just us.
But I might suggest, you can sort of adopt that and I can simply add or revise that based on your, approval here today.
Okay.
Because I think that's being requested and that's not a difficult change to make. So
Okay.
then you don't have to back up again for another vote and discussion.
Jason.
All right.
I just
So
wanted
we're going to
Yeah,
add
yeah.
any firearms whatsoever, concealed or not, pretty much, right?
That's, yeah, in high amenity areas, so if you're walking from, say, your unit to your vehicle or your unit down to the first floor, the idea is you would keep it concealed, according to, concealed carry rules, where you
Yeah.
can't see it bulging out of your shirt or something of that nature. But the idea is no weapons at all in high traffic, high use amenity areas. And if you're going to walk from your unit out of the property or from the property to your unit, then it must be concealed. No open carry, no carrying the rifle over your shoulder.
Yeah.
As you walk into or out of the condominium building. So
No, the only thing I was gonna say, this is purely hypothetical. What happens, you leave your unit, I leave my unit, and we'll walk into our car to go to the gun range, okay?
yeah,
Next thing we hear shots fired up on the pool deck. Does that law prohibit me from going up there with a weapon to stop the armed person?
so this is not a law we're talking about. This is simply a condominium rule, and I'm quite sure you would maybe be purchased a few rounds at the bar to take care of that for everybody, not fined for.
Because like in New York, or places, you see people have a legal right to carry the weapon, get involved in an incident, then they're being brought up on, criminal charges.
Right.
But that's not really where we're just.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about how you carry it, and of course, if there is an incident that you respond to, and without getting into the legalities of, what your rights are, how this all, plays out. But again, this is a simple condominium rule, not the law as to what you're allowed or what you're not allowed to do, but recognize, Florida is I guess we'll say it's very expansive, progressive, liberal in citizens' right to, carry their arms and use them when
Stand your ground
necessary.
state, so I mean, yeah, it's a stand your ground state,
Yeah,
so you don't have to retreat like in other areas.
yeah, no, it's like I said, it's more, open than many other, most other states, so.
Yeah. New Hampshire and Florida are almost the same. All right. So
Okay.
So do we need a motion to add that to the?
I think you do a motion to add that, and then a motion to approve as amended by John's suggestion.
Well, I make
okay.
a motion to add that to the current resolution about carrying firearms in high amenity places.
Okay,
And I will second that.
all right, good.
All right. Motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion? Then I guess it's time for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, that is unanimous. Okay, so we've made the motion and it's been accepted that it's going to be concealed carry included in this ban. So now we need a motion to amend our documents to reflect this as amended.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Open for discussion. Any homeowners have any comments?
What prompted this discussion? Was there something that, was an incident or anything like that?
Yeah, so,
Prompted, just, you know,
no, because the laws now allow sort of open carry. The people walking around without in the open, and I think you recognize as a private property owner, you didn't necessarily have to allow that, and open carry might be alarming to your residents and guests, so nobody's saying don't have a firearm, they're just saying if you have it, keep it concealed, coming to or from your unit, and don't bring a firearm to the clubhouse, the swimming pool, the tennis court. So I think that's what prompted it, is the recent change in the law,
gotcha.
and
Okay.
yeah.
Where did the idea come up to? Did you propose this to the board?
No, I didn't.
I don't know where
I
it
think it
Random
came,
subject.
It just suddenly came up.
What prompted it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Michael goes to a lot of meetings, within Seacrest, and this is something other condominium associations are doing. So I just thought, well,
Yeah, no, thanks.
that's where it came from.
I assume somebody saw a news article that said something like Florida man carries, firearm into, and that prompted it. So I didn't know where it came from, but yeah.
I know a lot of condo associations are adopting.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, a lot of private property owners, because open carry is now the law, unless you're a private property owner and say, that's a little much for us, keep it concealed.
A lot of this was brought up because Publix decided that they were going to allow people to walk around and store arms.
Or open carry.
Open carry, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Thank you, Mark.
question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Liliana McGuire, 5208. I was wondering, I have a question for our counselor. Do we have any update on the lawsuit that was served to Inc. a month ago?
Coming up.
I think it's on the agenda a little later on.
It's
Yes, I
item
have a brief update.
Yeah, no updates yet. We're on, right now, we're on, carrying handguns. Okay, so let's dispatch with that first.
So we
Alright.
have a first, second, we just need an all in favor.
Okay.
All right, well, discussion's all done on this topic. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 It is unanimous. Item number 4 is council, which I've already used your services on the last 2. They are Jason. I don't know if there's really anything more to cover here unless you've got something to help us out.
I'll give you an update on the lawsuit that the condominium association filed against Bayfront Inc. They were in fact served. We heard from their law firm, the same law firm that helped them draft this interpretation that we are objecting to. And they simply asked for an extension till December 29th in order to file a substantive response to our complaint. That is a lot easier and quicker than me objecting and having to set a hearing to argue it before a judge, which probably wouldn't happen until February based on the court calendar. So I approved or consented to their extension to December 29th to file a substantive response to our complaint. But that's where that lawsuit stands now.
Excellent. Moving on, other business.
Sorry, Mitch, we had one more question.
Yeah,
about
sorry, what was the date again they requested?
December 29th.
Okay, so basically January, whatever, 5th, 6th, I guess.
And there could be a number of reasons there. They asked for an extension. Maybe they want a different law firm to handle the litigation part.
Yeah.
We see an issue there being the same law firm that drafted the interpretation. We're going to call them up as a witness at some point, and it's odd and weird that they're also litigating it. So that's all speculation. That's why they need the extension, but they asked for it and we granted, and that the specific date is December 29th. So
Already. Thank you very much.
Does that, any more questions for council?
Liliana had a question. Oh, that was it.
Just
Yeah,
add
yeah,
for
no,
an
you-
update.
yeah.
All right, we're moving on. Other business.
Yeah, I have some stuff here. 2024 audit. Obviously, as you mentioned, Mitch, this was as at the end of last year, so almost a year ago. The audit firm made various suggestions. Where are we? Some of them have already been adopted, like we had over 250,000 First Horizon, but others I think we should look at and consider. I suggest that we put those on the agenda for next month. One thing that can't go on the agenda for next month because it's time critical is the fact that I think we're going to have
Yes.
about a
Yes.
hundred, hello, 120,000.
Correct. 20 stories, I think, or 19 stories. No, we're on
Okay.
the penthouse floor, on the top floor.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah. One thing that is time sensitive is our tax status for next year. I think we're going to have about 120,000 of interest. So we can either file as we did last year, or we can file a different filing format, which cuts our tax rate from 30% to about 20% on that. I suggest that we have a discussion with our accountants to see what they recommend.
John, is that by paying it in 2025?
No, we can file as we can file as an association and pay 40% tax, or we can file as a corporation, and the first 50,000 I think is at 15%, and I'm not quite. I think it's then 30% for the balance. So we will pay a lower tax rate. Now, it's more complicated to complete that form, but if we're going to be saving 10% on 120, that's 12,000.
And going forward, we want to file that report again, right?
I don't know. All I know is we have that option.
Okay.
And it's more complexity. It's lower taxes, or should be lower taxes, and also we do need to look at paying estimated taxes as well. So that's really where we need advice from our accountants. So that is one. Also, Ron raised the pressure washing of the garage floors. I'm just curious as to how that is progressing, or any update on that?
The last communication I saw suggested that should be left until the end after season.
To do it, John, like what I said to Michael, to do it right, you can't have all the cars and all the traffic, because if we're gonna do it, it has to be somebody who has a high-end commercial,
Yeah,
not our home pressure washer,
Yeah.
something that, and knows how to do it, meaning with cleaning solutions, because it looks terrible, but if we did it in July, people should be able to move their cars if they're here,
yeah.
and we can get that done.
We did put something together with Craig. He supervised our guys, Adrian and Manuel, using their pressure washer, and it really didn't work. And so the idea was, exactly as you say, do it in the low season, make sure that if people can't move their cars, their house watcher moves them, or a friend moves them, or we get a valet service to move them. And to your point, it does need to be done professionally with solvents, whatever.
Yeah, I would suggest, because we have a lot of people who put a car cover on their car. We have a couple of people who also drive their vehicles up on these mats to supposedly not put flat spots on the tires and stuff. And myself, I have a car cover, plus I have a solar charger that I put on the hood because I get sunlight because I'm over on the edge. So if I'm not there, you're going to have to work around my car and some other ones as well. In season, at least everybody has opportunity to move their cars out of there and move them back in. So that's just my thought on that. It does make sense, but there's a lot of people that really kind of put their cars to sleep for the summer. They unhook the battery, they do a lot of different things. So that might be a little more difficult than it sounds. I wanted to go back, John, to the well, you were talking about. I accidentally muted myself here.
Oh.
Yeah, talking about the different filing taxes and contacting our financial people. Would you be willing to look into that and take care of that and report back to the board for us?
Yeah, absolutely. If I could get the contact details from Michael, I will do that post haste, because, as I say, we do need to pay. I think we need to pay before January 15th. I think that date, and we should work out before then how we're going to file for 2025. So yeah, I'll run with that. I'll copy you guys on it.
Yeah,
I think we will have a decision before the next board meeting, though.
Yeah, and also the estimated taxes, I never kind of gave that a thought. I have to give it a thought here, but gave that a thought for our condo association. I assume there was a penalty. I assume we paid some penalty this year because we didn't pay our estimated taxes throughout the year. So
you know, Mitch, I looked at that. I didn't see it, and one of the kindnesses from the IRS, and you don't hear kindness and IRS in the same sentence very often, is that if your tax situation is substantially different to the prior year, then they sort of forgive you that. But I didn't see on the return any penalty.
And I didn't either, and I was astonished that we didn't pay a penalty if we should have been paying our estimated taxes quarterly.
Yeah.
But well, while you're talking to the attorney on this other issue, that is something that we should get set up and just make sure we do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll run with that, and I'll report back ASAP.
Awesome.
So garage floor, what's the best way forward on that? And I fully understand, Mitch, that there's folks who, as you say, put their cars to bed for the season.
I mean, this is a general kind of a maintenance thing that we can certainly do, and I'd like to hear other board members' opinions on do it in the off season where there's going to be a bunch of cars that are not going to get moved. I guarantee it. And I'm not going to fly down there just to move my car.
No.
Are there substantially more cars here during the season, or there is? So it would be easier to do it in the summertime when there aren't as many people here, and we have to coordinate to move ours. Because I leave my car here, put it to sleep, as Mitch says.
Yeah. A lot of folks do, and as Mitch says, some folks put covers over their cars, some folks put them on those little block things.
And John, I don't think there's an easy way to handle it. We're going to get issues either way.
Right.
Well, just
And it's
imagine.
just a matter of deciding whether you've got more people here and so they can move their vehicles, rather than those who just leave them here for the summer.
But just imagine, 1 second, John, sorry. When we go to paint, when we go to do the walkways, people are gonna complain. Imagine what they're gonna do then, okay? So everybody's gonna have to suck it up a little bit when these projects get done, because it's not gonna be done in a week and everybody's happy and I'm happy. So, if someone's complaining about moving the car, well, like you said, get your key person who watches your house or whatever to do it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna have to get done one way, just like the paint, and just like the railings and the walkways.
Maybe it would be useful if I found out what Craig and I put together 3 years ago and distribute that to the board.
That's fine.
Which was a sort of legit step of logistics when we tell people the options we give them to moving cars. Okay. All right. Thank you. And the last thing is, last board meeting, I suggested that somewhere we show the our reserve figure both split between structural and non-structural as per the Florida statutes. I didn't, Michael kindly distributed the most recent accounts. I don't see the split in there. How do we get that done?
This is something that I know it's mandated because it's mandated to show it in the financials as a split.
I'm not sure it's a mandated thing at all, but if it's something you want to do, this is more of a
Well,
bookkeeping.
it's mandated to have our reserves. I understand you're the attorney. We have our reserves as structural, non-structural.
Yes, you need to have separate and distinct.
So then the next
Yeah.
question is, not as an attorney, but as an accountant,
That's
where
the
do
question.
we show them?
Yeah, so that's more of a bookkeeping question of
Yeah.
how you reflect it, in your financial statements.
Yeah, which is it's not a question aimed at you
Yeah.
at all. But I guess that's a question for
It's
the
something you could add to your list when you're speaking to the accountant.
or we could ask Seacrest since they do our books. Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
have that number reflected somewhere, anywhere, like where people
It
know how to split it out? Or?
I feel it should be.
No, I know it should be, I'm saying, but I mean, somebody knows what that number is, right? Somebody knows, oh, we have X amount of dollars in non-structural reserves and X amount of dollars in our SERS.
Okay, my
We do,
answer to
but
that is
that's
we should know. Whether we know or not, I don't know. Certainly when we went back to our structural reserve, our reserve study,
Yeah.
they broke it out for us.
Yeah.
As to what we should be reserving for structural and what we should be reserving for non-structural.
Yeah.
As a numbers guy, I would like to see that reflected somewhere, particularly there's an advantage to us. There's also an advantage to any potential purchaser who can see that figure and go, great, we got structural X and Y.
Would you classify, I know you probably don't know the answer, would you classify the non-structural as more cosmetic?
No, it's very clearly defined by the state of Florida. So structural things like foundations,
Right, the
walls,
non-structural.
non-structural is really everything else.
Okay.
If you look at the reserve study that was done by reserve advisors, they break it out
Yeah.
into very, very fine detail. Okay, I'll talk to the accountant on that and see how we go forward. And that's it for me.
Find find out, John, if these, we can identify X amount, but do they actually need to physically be in separate accounts?
Oh, I believe we can commingle.
Okay.
So we can, I believe, yeah, but that's a good question, because at the end of the day, we've got Raymond James and our banking account, and that's where everything is commingled.
Yeah. That was just a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, good question.
All right.
Okay, that's me done.
Any other business? All right, well, we're going to move on to homeowner comments. Open the floor to people in attendance and online.
I have a question regarding the power washing of the garage. Is that a 1 day?
It's a great question. I mean, that you have to find out from the.
Highly unlikely.
Would be like 2 days maybe to do each garage? Because
And one of the, I'm sorry, one of the issues we had is gonna be the height in the garages to bring those pressure washing trucks in, which may also be an issue, but.
When Kevin did the ground floor and they had the big trucks, they had long hoses.
So they left them outside and brought the hoses in.
Yeah, so I think that I can't see there being an issue running a hose from the ground to the parking.
So if you wanted some feedback from a resident, I would prefer the power washing done during season so that I can move my car. Cause I'm one of the people like Mitch that covers up my car, and it would be a major inconvenience to ask my home watch person to take the cover off, move it. So if you want to solicit some comments from residents, if they have a preference, I would say in season.
The challenge that I see doing it in season, I fully agree with you, when everyone's around to move their cars, but where do you move them? Because the thought process that Craig and I had was doing it in the off season, the cars get shunted from one end of the parking garage to the other. The guys do one, move them back because there's less than 50% occupancy. The other alternative would be to move the cars from the east garage to the west garage on a temporary basis, and then west back to east on a temporary basis when the garages are being done. So if we do it during the season, I don't know where the cars will be parked.
We'd have to find our own spot somewhere.
Good luck.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. But good point.
Yeah, very good.
Quick couple of things, I had requested in the past, I just want to bring it up, I didn't bring it up at a meeting, but just in emails. Industrial bike racks for the garage, the second floor garage. Well, we have, there's small, cheap ones that, people end up piling bikes all around it and it just looks terrible. If we could
We're
price-
talking the west side, Nancy.
The west side, yes.
Yeah. So we've spent quite a lot of time looking at the west side, and there is actually nowhere to put additional bike racks.
Not additionals, the existing ones are very small and cheap, in the existing spots where there are like, a bike rack. If we could replace it with an industrial one that's wide enough to fit that designated spot.
And whatever the board decides, we're happy with.
Yeah, I think we should investigate to see what's available. Do we still have, we have more bikes than racks still? Yeah,
On the west side,
on the west side,
yeah,
yeah.
we've got
Yeah,
adequate.
the west side is just so confined, there's very. So that you can't have to stay with the smaller bike racks, I mean,
I'm referring to like where
where they are,
the
yeah.
ones that are there now.
Yeah,
And what happens is like I said, the bikes get piled in that one spot, then they end up in the two parking spots that are right next to it. And I think there's a designated spot there where you can fit a wider, more industrial looking one that looks
Yeah.
and.
Well, certainly, we'd be more than happy to look into it, Nancy.
And then one quick thing, if we could look into flowers added to the perimeter pots. Something that brings a little color instead of those green fan plants. Something to give a little bit more of a burst of color.
Like we had last year.
Well, yeah, I mean, what we had last year was very small, but I mean, just added to the pots.
The
that are
the
here.
same type of
These, yeah,
plant,
the pots are beautiful, it's
Yeah.
just that they have,
but the same type of plant.
yes,
The,
yes.
was it impatiens, was it? No, what
There
was
were patients, even, just added perennials, annuals. Even if it's during the busy season, at the very least.
it?
Because I understand if there's some upkeep there with watering them, but I would think that the plants that are here now, the company comes in and waters them, right?
yes.
Well, the
So-
plants, the plants that are there now, the plants that are there now were chosen specifically. They only need to be watered once a week. And in the base of those giant pots, there's enough reserve so that they can last a week even in hot weather. But if we look at impatiens or some of these other things, that requires a watering system, which we limped through last year, at least on the east garage, with our watering system, and it was leaking, but we kept those plants alive throughout the season. And I don't know if we want to put any more money into that, but that is the reason that the plants, what you see is what we've got, is because the company that provides those, they take care of everything. If a plant gets sick or dies, they just replace it at no extra charge to us. So that whole thing is subcontracted out, and they do not do plants that require watering every day or so. That's just not the service that they offer.
I'll be happy to reach out to Imperial Plantscapes and see if they can suggest something.
Sounds good, thank you, Mike.
And alternatively, would Adrian and or Manuel be willing and able to water the plants on a daily basis?
Probably not.
No. Why?
don't, I haven't thought of a good answer.
Okay, well, I'm waiting.
I mean, those two guys are out pretty straight, all day long. Jeff, that would be a good question for you. I know that they're never standing around. They're always doing something. Is every single day that extra chore? What do you see as an impact on the two people that we have do all of our maintenance?
Yeah,
Shane's still part of that?
he is. He gives us 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
He could fit in 10 minutes to water the plants. There's a hose right out there.
Yeah, so the plant issue is that they've chosen indigenous plants here, so. That's one thing, our gardener is only here once every 2 weeks. To replenish the reserves in each pot, to take inventory, make sure that nothing's broken, yada yada. That's why when Chris came from IPS and did his presentation. I think he even mentioned it, that they don't do these very vibrant, colorful plants that take daily care. Because they would cost us a fortune to have a gardener come out here and replace these plants when they die, because they're seasonal or only a few months that they last. But yeah, it would take, Adrian and Mike or Manuel, a good hour to water these plants every day if we were to incorporate colorful plants that need extra care.
I was referring to the perimeter of the pool, those plants.
Yeah,
When you step out, when you first walk into the pool area, all you see is these very dull looking green plants. So I was just talking about there.
Me or Michael can reach out to Chris at IPS to see if there's anything with some kind of color.
Sounds good.
That wouldn't take any extra, like a ton of extra work. And the more work they do, the more you guys get charged.
Gotcha.
Maybe we form a gardening committee. I think we've got a question.
Oh, it's my turn.
I don't know.
No, was that one done?
Yes, I'm good. I'm done.
Okay, this is just a FYI for everyone. A couple of weeks ago, Michael sent an email because I explained to him that somebody stole my electric bike off the second floor. But the reason I'm bringing it up again, it was on the second floor and you would assume you need your remote to get through. So I'm thinking it has to be somebody that's renting, because why would an owner steal a bike and it was covered and it was in my spot? But I found out recently by somebody that used to live here, you don't need a remote because the gate, and I don't know if you could check this, Jeff, you can lift it and move it. You don't need your remote. So if somebody was going up, I don't know, a civilian, I'm not a civilian, but you know what I mean, out in somebody that doesn't live here, comes, I don't know if they would go up, lift it and open it. I just can't see somebody living here stealing something.
Yeah.
Second floor.
So locks and gates only keep honest people honest. They have to be pretty strong to lift that gate off the track to move it to fit a bike.
This might go back to the Airbnb, the concerns with Airbnbs. There might be some transient that
It could be.
stayed only for a night.
Yeah.
But you had to actually lift up the
Yeah, and
cover.
those gates are a few $100 a piece, so.
I'm just passing that on
Yeah.
because people think on your second floor, yes, maybe I should have had it locked to my bike rack in my parking space on the second floor, but you would think with it being covered,
Yeah.
so somebody's scoping something, because how would they know to go over there and lift the cover and take it? It's just to watch out for your stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any other homeowner comments? Well, if that's the case, we're moving on to adjournment. We're going to need a motion and second to adjourn.
I will make that motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 It is unanimous. Everybody have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and we'll see you in 2026.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, pleasure, sir.
Yeah, always, thanks.